You're listening to Two Chunks and a Hunk, a movie podcast where we give pumps and dumps.
Hello and welcome to Two Chunks and a Hunk. My name is Jordan Wonders, and this week I'm your chunk.
I'm Doge, and I thought you were going to be the all-time champ, not the all-time hunk.
Nice.
And I'm Carter, and who put the glad in gladiator? Hercules.
Very nice, very nice. Doge, notice that you introduced yourself as the hunk there.
I did.
Tell us about it, man.
I did. I brought me into this here studio
I love it.
a big dumb dork book,
Nope. Big cool Doge book.
a big cool Doge book.
Big cool Doge.
It is Edith Hamilton's mythology, and we'll talk about it more in our episode. But now I'm embarrassed for being such a loser.
No, dude, don't
Such
be
a
embarrassed.
dweeb.
That's such a hunky thing. I'm glad that we go the extra mile a lot of times with this kind of stuff.
Would you say that we go the distance?
Oh,
I would
my
say we go the
gosh.
distance.
Find your way. Now, before we move on,
It was such a good French horn impression, Carter.
Thank you. I'm always going to start
You're killing
really
it
good.
these past couple of weeks out of the gate with brand new impressions.
See, I
Give me
thought
your French horn one more time.
I thought it was like a muted oboe.
Same. So that's two.
There you
You're
go.
really making it better.
There you go.
I have two.
Now, before we move on, I do want to address something that I said in yesterday's Mini Monday that was incorrect when we brought up Bobby from a Goofy movie. I said a quote, and that quote was from the guy with the glasses, the nerd guy with the glasses in the crowd watching the show. And I'm embarrassed.
Well,
No, I'm glad you
everybody
addressed it.
unsubscribed because of that. So now this message gets out to no one.
I'm just embarrassed. Let's move past it. Guys, it's our second movie of the Disney Dozen.
This is a wonderful ride.
It's already going too fast, I think.
I know. I want things to slow down. I want to be in this series forever.
I know. Maybe we should just be a Disney movie animated podcast
That's it. That's it.
from this point onward. That would be good, right, Carter?
that's it.
That's it. That's the one. Well, I'm sure we're going to have a lot to talk about. So maybe we should just go ahead and jump into this movie.
Okay.
Which, of course,
Is called
Hercules. Oh, man. Such a good one. And I think it can really go the distance.
Yeah, nice.
How many
already
times
got
can we
two
make
of them.
Hey, Dosh,
Hey, what?
do you want to do me a favor? Do you know what would put the glad in my gladiator?
Nope.
If you would give me a synopsis
Synopses.
of this movie specifically.
Oh, okay, cool.
Oh, just in general.
I'm
of
glad
anything?
you
Yeah,
specified
sorry,
that.
of Hercules, the Disney one.
Hercules tells the story of a young god born to Zeus and Hera, who is stolen from his home on Mount Olympus and turned mortal, or so Hades thinks. This is the story of Hercules growing up and realizing and actualizing his own godhood to save the world from Hades' plan of destruction. I'm stuck. We were just looking at a new age content generator. So I'm stuck in words like actualizing and ionizing
Yeah, I
and
noticed that
reactivating.
actually. Yeah.
Sounds good though. It works.
Hercules reactualizes his own ionosphere to become the circuit that the energy will flow through.
Breathe the vapors of the life force around you.
I got nothing.
Just do the French horn again. Yeah, that's a good one.
Oh, Bobo.
So Carter's just going to do the whole soundtrack to this movie.
Yeah, perfect.
While we're talking about it. So this is kind of an interesting one because it is based on like actual existing mythology that is out there.
I saw something that said it was the first. I feel like it's the only. Everything else was fairy tale,
Yeah.
but mostly before this, and this was based off of mythology.
Y'all want to do that right now?
Oh, go!
You're
Doja's kind of tossing his head back and forth like a sassy little
What
Girl
are we doing?
Scout.
I'm ready. Let's jump in.
So the
Give me
reason
the Thin Mints.
the reason I brought my big dumb nerd book about mythology is that you guys familiar with the paradox of the ship of Theseus? if a Greek hero,
Oh, yes.
the hero Theseus, if he has a ship and one board begins to rot on the ship, and then a craftsman replaces that one board, one by one, the original boards begin to rot, and a craftsman replaces all the boards. And so in 1 year's time,
it's not even the same.
is it the same ship? Is this still Theseus's ship, or is this a new ship? Just so happens that Theseus is a character in Greek mythology, much like Hercules. He's using his Romanized name of Hercules in this one. I believe that this movie is a ship of Theseus.
Yeah.
Because we've taken some characters and some names and crafted an entirely different story.
Yeah.
This bears no resemblance to the Hercules of myth, other than his super strength and Zeus being his father.
He big strong boy.
He big strong boy. But in this, like for example, just stuff like Hades is Judeo-Christian Satan. He's not the god of the underworld that we see in Greek mythology.
He's actually really not even a villain.
Yeah, there's just so much of that I don't know. I mean, I think it is based on that Greek mythology, but it's not. I mean, I think Disney took even more liberties with this than they did with.
Does it seem offensive?
That's what I was going to ask. And that's kind of what I was going to pose to you guys, is because I was reading about the release of this movie, and it was set, there was a big press around, it was set to premiere at an open air amphitheater in Greece. And the people running that amphitheater pulled it. They cut it down. They're like, hey, we're not going to do this because this is just another case of foreigners taking our culture and our stories and turning them into something that they wish they had been. Which is interesting.
That is interesting. And I think something's going to always offend somebody. But in a perfect world, I think I would enjoy it more if I found out it was for everyone.
Yeah.
Like that they made it and they were like, and we also respected this and did all of that. So
Sure.
I don't know if that necessarily takes anything away from me.
But that's the question, though, is because Disney kind of does that. And
Yeah,
as we
with
saw
everything.
last week in Aladdin, as we're going to see with some other movies.
Beautifully butchered it.
Yeah, Disney kind of just anglicized and Disneyfies all of these stories, these old stories. They take them and kind of filter them through the 20th century Western lens and say, here's how we would tell this story if we were writing it today.
Yep.
I don't know. That's just kind of an interesting approach to it.
I can see that.
Sure. I think that for me, a lot of what it boils down to, though, is like if their goal is to make these movies that appeal to kids, families, and people who like to watch this kind of stuff. Yeah. And if the question is this a better way to do that? Then yes, because the actual story of the Greek hero Hercules would be horrific for children.
Yeah. He's kind of nuts.
Yeah. And I think that if you're going to make the movie, this is the way to do it. But if the question is it okay for Disney to just come in and say, like, we're taking this story now? I don't know. I don't know that it diminishes the real story at all, having an adaptation done of it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I think
I don't think it hurts anything.
Like, canceling the premiere of this as an amphitheater is probably an overreaction.
Well, I could get why they would do it because they're in Greece and they probably are pretty tightly wound into the
and I think as Americans too,
culture. Yeah.
Like even if we could be offended by someone changing our history, it's still thousands and thousands of years younger than the history of a place like Greece.
Yeah, that's true.
For them to be like, it's always been,
I guess it feels maybe like not even changing the history, but instead just going like, I wrote a fun story about George Washington that's not true.
Right. Well, and I think it would be different if Hercules hadn't been the subject of like serialized films and stories since like the late 1800s.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like this is a character that
probably the most familiar.
Kind of fair game.
Originates in Greece but has transcended. And his original purpose when he was born in Greek mythology, they said this man will be the hero of all mankind.
Yeah.
And I think he's sort of fulfilled that in transcending out of Greek mythology to being a character that we all write stories about and we know stories about. He has become the hero for all mankind.
That's a good point.
Sure. And I think the big thing here with something like Hercules is it super different than the actual Greek mythology? Yes. But is it disrespectful? I don't think so. I think that it's at least respectful to, it's not disparaging of the source material.
I mean, he's made the hero. He's not some kind of dumb
and not only has he
thing.
made the hero, but he's made the hero through, quote unquote, true heroic means.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'll say from the start for this movie, it's a spectacle. This is one of the
really
most
is.
fun, like aesthetically to watch.
Yes.
Especially when you go to Olympus. And
this movie is gorgeous.
It's gorgeous the whole time. The animation is so clever. And I loved that. That was a pump. It might have almost been my super pump. But I think every frame was just like so awesome. Because there were points in Aladdin to where it was just like, you know, you're in the streets and like there was nothing that really stood out. But somehow this was always really, really fun to watch.
And I think I could almost have spent the entire movie in Olympus just because of how cool that area was and how great everything looked. And like I loved
the glow that they kind of give everybody.
Their glow. And I loved the animation decision to have pillars move like mist and then just remake in the cloud. Like that's so fun.
Yep.
And I think they did a really cool job with the look and vibe of
I love
Olympus.
it. It looks like the kind of like Greco-Roman statues and stuff. You know what I mean? Like it really does evoke that kind of art style. This movie was actually criticized for its animation when it came out.
Why?
Because it looks like, compare this to something like, let's go like Beauty and the Beast or like Tarzan or like some of those other kind of ones that have the more classic Disney style.
Sure.
This is way more stylized and the character designs are much simpler.
Yeah.
And so the criticism at the time was there are some pieces that look unfinished. Like there's places where it looks like the shade, like you didn't put shading on this character, like you didn't finish the animation.
Interesting.
I don't get that. I think that's an intentional, simplistic choice.
Yeah, I do too. Especially since from the beginning, when you have your Muse crew,
who are so fun.
They're essentially like meant to be very much 2D because they're on a material.
Right.
So to kind of go with that, not exact theme, but to kind of be like, hey, we're not going to give as much dimension to this kind of stuff. Made sense to me. I think it was aesthetically worked together. But Zeus's Rip Torn. Great choice. Kept thinking of things like Dodgeball and Men in Black. But he's I don't know, I think because of his characters are semi always in control, but kind of grungy. So for him to be this clean god, at first, if I had heard about it before hearing it, I'd be like, okay, I think that could work, but I think it's perfect.
It works really
well. How much
does
he sound like John Goodman quite often in this movie?
There's a lot of John Goodman. And I think too, is because we were talking about how Goodman's used in 2 pretty big roles in Disney.
Right.
I was like, wait, was it 3?
Did he triple diz?
Yeah. Did he triple diz?
Yeah, I did look. I was like, wait, no, okay, we're good. But there's a couple times where he talks and it's very John Goodman.
Yeah. And I think just because of how big he is, makes sense for John Goodman.
Yeah, 100% that's part of it. But we get a lot at the beginning of sort of quick run through of how Hercules came to be on Earth. Through, Hades' deception and trying to make sure that his plans aren't going to be threatened when the stars align in 18 years and all that stuff. And I just want to say, James Wood.
Oh my goodness.
James Wood.
As Hades is so good.
He's unbelievably good.
He said that this was one of his favorite roles. And when this movie started to go over budget, he offered to do it for free.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
But they were like, here's the thing. You've really done a lot for this. We're going to pay you, because he is every frame. Every little bit.
Incredible.
And they originally had designed the character of Hades to be kind of a slower, methodical, but just building off of Wood's like natural humor. Yeah. And he kind of did some ad lib stuff too. They were like, no, he needs to be this quick, conniving.
Yes. And he's so funny and he's so intense.
Yes.
He yells better than maybe anyone yells.
Well, and then him going to the red. Like when he starts, that's one of my favorite parts. But his lair is so cool looking.
The design of the underworld is incredible.
It's incredible. And you kind of see Cerberus.
Yep.
Like barely the eyes, and that comes back later. But
I can't believe we only barely get Cerberus.
I know.
That's weird to me.
Yeah.
If it was for the sake of showing more Titans, I'm down.
Sure, yeah.
But I think, so I'm going to say my super pump.
Okay.
And it is any antagonist. I'm going to take the antagonist as a collective. Specifically at the lead, Hades, but then Pain and Panic. These were my favorite parts of the movie. And a lot of the times too, it's like there's certain big villains that I can respect a lot and be like, you terrify me. You're fun to watch. But when it's like, this was so attached to, and I think we'll get this later in another of our movies, humor. I was laughing the most and enjoying myself the most when villains were on the screen.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. No, that's good.
And so that's my super pump. And Hades' design also is just so freaking cool.
Yeah. And he's so different than any of the other gods that are up there in Olympus too. Like he is completely like two color, two shade, like gray, black with that blue flame. Like he's so cold looking.
Yes.
Yeah.
Under a magnifying glass. Like there's no way to find a way to kind of want to root for him, right? Because he really is an awful person.
Right.
But there were times too, I don't know why. I was just like, go for it, dude. Yes. Tear it up. And it might also be because I'm not that big a fan of Hercules.
Interesting.
And we can talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, I think overall the villains are my super pump with Hades at the head of that. And he in our little diagram, he's right in the middle. He's everything.
He's got them all. He's got all three.
Of course he's got a big kill count. So and an actual kill in this movie. But they're great. And then is it Fate? Are the Fates? What are the three? Also very good animation. Like they were so fun
Passing
to watch.
That eye around is so gross.
Yeah.
And it's so awesome.
Are they in 300 as well? Are the Fates in 300?
I've seen
another depiction of them that was kind of creepy, and I think I remember them all sharing an eye. Is that part of mythology? Is that they have one eye that they pass?
Yeah.
Okay. That's really cool. Anyways, that's my spiel about how awesome the bads are.
Yeah. Just because I'm trying to get into the habit in our show of talking about things as they come up so we don't forget to come back to them later, I'm just going to go ahead and say that James Wood as Hades is my super pump for this movie.
Yeah.
I was going to try and be like sneaky and come back later and be like, I brought it up earlier, tricked you guys, but I'm afraid I will forget. Like, James Wood as Hades is hands down my favorite part.
Yeah.
And I think it's for the reasons that you're saying. Like he balances so well humor and intensity and fear and fun. And it's like, it's every reason you want to watch this movie all wrapped up in one character.
Yeah.
And he is just, he's not the only good thing, but he is the best thing for me.
It's cool. I was thinking about how when James Woods comes on screen, so like it felt so much like Lion King because it was the birth and then someone who, it basically feels like family who feels like they should have some kind of, it felt very much like that.
Yeah. It's very similar.
And I'm a big Scar guy too, but
he's in this one.
He is in this one. He is in this one, which was great. Yeah. And I forget too.
Thespian Lion.
I think with that Disney Renaissance we were talking about this before the podcast. I think it was 88 to 99.
Yeah.
They called the Disney Renaissance, which were 10 films that just like basically what we're saying about the Disney Dozen were a massive influence. And that doesn't even count the fact that both Toy Story 1 and 2 were during the Disney Renaissance. But I forget, it was tough for me to place which of these came first. And I think that maybe that because we were talking about the animation seems to be pretty consistent.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, was that a teaser for the Lion King? Wait, no, Lion King definitely already happened.
Right. Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's fun to have that. And it's happening more than I realized in a lot of the movies that we're watching, blatant references to other Disney movies. I always thought that was just a Pixar thing.
Which is so fun.
So fun. But yes.
So Hercules ends up on planet Earth, grows up into a big, strong boy.
Very Superman, huh?
Yeah, very Superman.
It really is. It really, really tracks along with the story of Superman. I think that grown up Hercules, when he's muscly, sort of looks like Christopher Reeve's Superman to me.
Ooh, I see that a little bit.
I don't know if that was intentional or if maybe I'm just looking for it, but
it's the hair a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, he's got that weird nose like Christopher Reeve had.
Wow. How rude of you to Chris.
Should not speak ill of the dead.
It's a weird nose.
Supernova.
But we get to see him doing a little growing up. He completely levels a forum for shopping.
Puberty plus godlike strength. Bad news.
I really wanted to see him throw that discus though.
Oh yeah.
I really wanted to see what that would have been like.
Launch it.
Yeah. Was really excited about that.
Probably like launch it to Italy and it hits the Tower of Pisa, makes it lean a little bit. It felt like there was a lot of that kind of stuff.
That would have been really great.
There it is.
The Tower of Pisa was not built by that point.
Okay, I knew this was coming.
Italy was not settled over.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay.
I hate you.
No, it's good to have it.
But
the pot maker. So the pot maker is what will later be Tantor.
Mm-hmm.
Newman. I only call him Newman from Seinfeld. But what's his actual name?
Wayne
Knight.
Yeah, Wayne Knight.
And so he's a double dizzer.
He is.
And we talked about this a little bit.
Dizzer.
Which means he's got
dizzer. We get the old guy in what is it? Thebes is the big city that they're in.
The guy with no teeth.
The old guy is Tigger.
Yep.
No way.
And Winnie.
And Winnie the Pooh. Yeah.
And a bunch of other people. And Pete.
Yep.
So good.
Yeah.
Guess
He's
I'm
like, a
double Disney.
he's like a quintuple
What is
Disney.
his name? I can't remember his
It's
name.
so
He does
Yeah.
a billion voices for Disney all the
Yeah.
time.
That's
He is
so
so
fun.
good. I love
He's
that
one of
guy.
those where they credit additional voices.
Yeah, I mean, he's
There's
just
like
all
always a
kinds of
handful
stuff.
of like a troupe that just does a little bit of everything.
Yeah, in fact, he in a lot of ways he's sort of Disney animated's like John Ratzenberger from Pixar, where it's just like sometimes they'll just throw him in to be like, "There's our boy, he's back in it."
Yep.
But he is so good. I love that guy.
Yep.
But we get to see Herc leave his home and go visit statue of Daddy Zeus, who's like, "Oh yeah, you're right. You don't belong here. Go on your journey."
Feels kind of Mulan.
It
In that
does
sense.
a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's go become who you're supposed to be. Go be a hero.
Yep.
Find Phil. And we go find Phil. Oh, we do get the reunion with Pegasus.
We do. I love
Oh,
Pegasus.
man.
Oh yeah,
so
we didn't even talk
freaking
about
much.
baby Pegasus. There's
Baby
some,
Pegasus is adorable.
Some extra cute stuff real early in this one.
Yeah. We were talking about this last night. Disney makes babies real cute.
Yeah.
Yes, very
Yes.
much.
I don't
Even when
understand
Pain and
that.
Panic are those kids that we saw in Aladdin.
Yeah. Oh, they super aren't.
They actually definitely are not.
Yeah.
Even when they're not, though. both sets of kids are so cute.
Yeah, I noticed that this movie, I was wrong about that. They definitely are not.
And I was like telling everybody, which it was just Chelsea. I was like, hey, that's the ones.
Only person I
thought
talked
so
to.
stupid.
But yeah, Disney makes babies real cute.
Yeah.
And baby Pegasi, apparently.
Pegasi.
But Herc jumps on Pegasus. Boom, out the door. We're flying to Phil's land.
We're passing my super pump though.
Oh, are we?
My super pump.
Am I from Canada? Oh, are we?
Oh, are we? My super pump is the immeasurable contributions of Michael Bolton to this film. Go the distance.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
he doesn't sing that till the credits.
He doesn't sing it to the credits. Did he write it?
No.
He didn't?
No.
But it's a good song. It's my super
It's a
pump.
great song.
But I thought he wrote it. He didn't?
No.
Michael.
He just performs it for the credits.
Michael.
It's a great song.
How perfect, though, to ask a god to sing on a soundtrack of the
About it.
gods.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, particularly Michael Bolton's
Well,
version
I'm ashamed
of
now.
It's okay. It's okay.
I feel like an idiot.
It's okay.
Ask me a question about Greek mythology so I feel smart again.
What's
So where did Greek mythology come from? What country?
Greek.
Whoa, dude. You are a smart boy.
You are a big one. But yes, that song is incredible.
So did you know
One of my all-time faves.
in Go the Distance when he sees the star in the sky,
Mm.
that's Pegasus
He's
watching down on him.
He's on Pegasus.
Nope.
He's riding Pegasus.
Nope. No, I feel okay. I just wanted to make Doge feel dumb too.
Oh.
Sorry, when he it's later. Him and Meg, when they're singing together and they see the star, that's Pegasus watching down on him. Isn't that cool?
Pegasus is still alive.
I know, but it's like him streaking across the sky.
Oh my goodness.
Guys,
Put us in a food processor.
let's go back.
'cause
Let's
we're
go
all
back.
mixed up.
Let's go back
Oh,
to
no.
Twilight.
That's the only movie we can keep up with.
Everybody deleted this episode.
Oh, man. Do you have anything else you want to say about Go the Distance, though?
No, because everything I say about it is wrong.
You said one. Do
Let's keep going.
you want me to just let misinformation spread to the
find,
public?
We go to find Philoptides, a name that Disney has taken from myth and created an entirely brilliant Danny DeVito character around.
Almost my super pump. He is so great.
Yeah, he's really awesome.
He's a pump, but I forgot how much he wanted to play Wii Sports in this movie.
Yeah, he's
That was a little-
He's kind of a little nasty fawn, huh?
he's
a
nasty.
Satyr. Sorry. Now I'm the foolish guy.
Wow,
Put a
guys.
tag on your face.
Look how foolish we all are.
But yeah, he's a little grabby.
Yeah.
Funny, but a little grabby.
Was the centaur Phil too? Is that Phil's voice? Not Phil.
No.
Pete.
Yes. No. No.
It's a different
No.
Okay, sorry.
No, but it is somebody big who I don't remember. But
For the centaur? Also, like all the villain animation is so cool.
yeah.
I love
Like,
it all.
To me, it's clear that they put the most time into the design of the villains.
Yeah.
And what they look like and how they move and behave and all that stuff.
Yep. For sure. And there's some trivia on how long it took some of them. Like the Hydra took hours and
long
hours and
time.
hours and hours to put
Yeah.
together. But
But we get Herc training with Phil to become big and strong.
Totally forgot that song. I couldn't even recognize it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I
Didn't
could
even
have sang
remember it.
a
Not
single
a good
word
one.
of it.
It's not a good one.
It's
I
not
mean,
a
it's
very
Danny
good one.
DeVito singing. What are you going to do?
Which their relationship seems to like that happens pretty quick. And the only way I can dump on that is because you get to see one of the best coming of age, like growing songs is Hakuna Matata. Like we get to see him going across the log and growing up and under the tutelage of Timon and Pumbaa.
Right.
And this was not that. Like it just felt, and when it's not put together well, the pace is exposed. Like it is so fast.
I agree with that.
But yeah, I don't think I dump on it, but Hercules himself is far from one of my favorite like Disney protagonists.
Yeah.
I love his
I would agree with
feats.
that.
I love what he's capable of, but he's kind of dull to me. Like I think I don't know how to describe it. It's not jock. It's like, it's just not enough. It doesn't stand out.
Well, it's interesting that you say jock because that's very much a part of his characterization in the Greek myth. There's a story of Hercules has this friend. He's traveling and he needs to stay at his house overnight. Right before Hercules gets there, his friend's wife dies. But the Greeks had such a high regard for hospitality at the time that this guy, he comes out and his eyes are red. He's been crying. He's wearing like a black armband or some small thing to symbolize that he's grieving. But he invites Hercules in and prepares a feast in his honor. And Hercules is like, who died? And the guy goes, it's just some woman. I'm excited that you're here. Come in. I've got a hot meal for you. I've got a warm bed. And so all of the servants of the house are at this funeral. And Hercules is like fall on his face drunk at a table by himself, being very loud, very obnoxious, very annoying. And one of the servants is finally like, do you not realize the mistress of this house has just died? And Hercules starts to feel really, really guilty. And so he just gets up and leaves and doesn't tell anybody where he's going. He goes and fights death and wins the man's wife's soul back from death.
Whoa.
Brings the man's wife back to him and goes, hey, do you recognize this person? Does she look like anybody you know? And the guy's like, what have you done? Is that a ghost? And he's like, no, it's your wife. I just fought death for her. Why aren't you excited? That's like Hercules' whole deal. The passage in particular in the book I brought today says, there's no other story about Hercules which shows so clearly his character as the Greeks saw it. His simplicity and blundering stupidity, his inability to not get roaring drunk in a house where someone was dead, his quick penitence and desire to make amends at no matter what cost, his perfect confidence that not even death was his match.
He's the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
The Incredible Herc.
Right.
Yeah.
The Incredible Herc.
But really, like it sort of seems like he's just like, I go get back.
It reminds me of Thor in the first Thor movie. Of just like, I'm a god. I can punch anything I want to because I can.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
I can see that for sure. That makes sense.
But that's interesting that's kind of the read that you get from his character in this as well.
Yeah. It's just kind of,
Yeah. The vibe that I get is like dumb, love-struck teenager in adult man's body.
yeah. And it does suck. And
I mean, he's 18.
the reason I don't necessarily
But
dump
that's not-
on it
that's
is because they do have some real, like, he doesn't fit in anywhere.
Yeah.
Like I definitely I feel for that. I have some empathy for that.
Sure.
And so,
Yeah.
and then he finally has this fame after not feeling like he fit in. But there's also another way that we'll see soon in another movie about not fitting in that I think was done much better than this way. But
agree.
anyways, sorry.
But anyway, we meet Meg, we save Meg, we beat the River Centaur, and we head to Thebes, the Big Olive, so that
I love
we
that
can
line.
so good,
That's so funny.
so that we can become a hero. That's where Herc's on his way to.
Yep.
And before he does that, and before we get there, I think it's time we throw on our blinker, take the exit ramp for a quick pit
I was like,
stop,
what's the blinker? Got it.
because it's time for a shout announcement. A shout announcement.
Boom.
So to be clear, there's going to be 3 songs right there.
Welcome to Shout Announcements, the part of the show where we give shout outs and announcements. Here we go.
Here we are.
Hey, Wax Space.
Hi.
Hey, Tyler Station.
Hey.
What's
That's
up?
where we are right now. We're in ya, and we're doing a podcast. Thanks for letting us eat your snacks, drink your coffee, and make a podcast inside of you. If you're in Dallas and you need get some work done, if you need to get some work done in Dallas and you don't have a place to do it, check out Wax Space and Tyler Station.
Yay.
Also, want to give a shout out to Podbean. We pay you money. We put stuff on you, and that stuff is this. Podcast.
Podbean. We're so good at those.
I've got 2 Aladdin-related shout-outs and 1 Hercules-related shout-out.
Do it.
You pick your poison. Where are we going first?
Aladdin.
Aladdin first.
Get it out
First
of the way.
Aladdin shout-out goes to Claudia. She pointed out something that we missed in our last episode, that Iago's name is a reference to the villain in Othello.
Love it.
Excellent observation, and I wish that we had time to talk about that because it's some super interesting stuff.
Disney,
wish
we
we were
will when
smart
Disney
enough to
uses
catch that.
Shakespeare more blatantly.
Yeah.
But when will they ever do that?
No idea.
Second shout-out goes to Hulan Jenkins on YouTube. I'm not sure. I found this on a Disney page that I like to read.
Thanks, dude.
So Aladdin and Jasmine travel from Greece to Egypt in 11 seconds.
Sure.
They travel 1,596 kilometers in those 11 seconds.
Count
Sure,
them.
yeah.
That is an average speed of 324,557 miles per hour.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty...
That is about 300,000 miles per hour faster than the Apollo mission's reentry.
yeah, okay.
So they burn to a crisp.
So
But
is
there's
the
some-
rest of the movie the dying dream of 2 lovers
Exactly.
on a magic carpet?
On the magic carpet ride,
Poignant.
they burned right up.
Don't you dare try not to die.
That made all the extra syllables worth
I
it.
didn't know where I was going when I started it. I got don't you dare was like, a punchline would be good.
Don't
Don't you
you
even
dare
get even closer because I like you so much to die.
Don't you dare think this is going to be fun because this is going to be really hot because we have to travel so fast to go to Egypt to Greece in 11 seconds.
My gosh.
The Hercules shout out goes to Jordan Green. Jordan sent us in Super Pump and Super Dump.
Jordan.
Let's see.
Thanks, Jordan.
His Super Pump is Pain and Panic. He says they're arguably the best henchmen in the Disney catalog and stole every scene they were in.
Nice.
They're great.
Super Dump is the amount of male gaze in this movie and how much of a key plot point it was made this kind of cringy to watch as an adult.
Yeah, I can hear that.
Further discussion on that point withheld till the rest of our episode.
Ooh. Guys, I have, as we all know, so many shout outs. So many actually that we're going to split these up. So if you didn't hear your name today, you'll probably hear it tomorrow.
Or the next time.
But
Tomorrow in our Wednesday episode.
tomorrow, or you're probably going to hear it next week. just wait, guys. Just chill, please. Shout out to Will, to Wayne, to Claire, to Caroline, to Mary Beth, to Randy, Mariah, and Tammy.
Thank
guys.
you.
We these are some chunk ambassadors, and so we wanted to reach out to a lot of you that have already encouraged us, have really helped us grow the podcast to really push Disney Does, and we're having a ton of fun with this series, and we're so excited. It's bittersweet right now that we're getting closer and closer to halfway because we really do want this
I know, it's so fun.
to last, and so
Forever.
those of you that we shout out today, we'd love for you to continue to reaching out and just let people know. We feel like we put together some really, really good content for y'all collectively. I think Two Chunks website, the podcast, obviously, and all of our social media is just done really well.
Lunch boxes.
Lunch boxes,
Water bottles.
2 chunks the lunchbox.
two lunch and a
Chunch.
box. But honestly, it feels like I think sometimes when we're doing this podcast, we do research on other podcasts like us. And the twist is there's really not. So
You ain't never had a podcast like
never
us.
had a podcast like us. So
Like the movie one.
shout out to you guys. We got a couple more reviews. We're getting closer and closer to 100 and being halfway to where we'd like to be by October. Thank you for everyone who's subscribed. If you haven't yet, please subscribe. Please review. That's one of the best ways, even more than shouting us out on Instagram and social medias. One of the best ways for people to discover us is to go in there and rate and review if you haven't already.
Yeah, and if you're a longtime listener who hasn't reviewed yet, my only question would be, why not? It's easy and fast and free, and it helps us out a ton. So if you have the free time, maybe 3 minutes and $0, and you have the inclination to help out some people that are your podcast friends, please do that. That's a huge help.
Please.
Easy, fast, and free has to be our new tagline. 2 chunks and a hunk. We're
Easy,
easy, fast, and free.
That's also
Jimmy Jones.
how I got married.
Oh, sorry.
Because it was my proposal was I'm easy, fast, and free.
The only thing dumber than thinking Michael Bolton wrote a song for this movie that we're talking about in this episode is forgetting to announce something very important in the middle of our announcements and then having to go back and record it later.
But who would even do that?
Good thing that hasn't happened to us.
Not us. We're professionals.
Pros.
We're really good at this. Hey, guys, do you know what movie we're talking about next week? Because I do.
What is it?
It's Tarzan. Oh, man.
Yep.
Buckle up.
Buckle up, guys.
Strap on to your vines because we're sliding down them into Tarzan.
Must be this tall to swing from this vine.
Please keep all hands and arms inside the Tarzan at all times.
Please keep your Tarzans and feet inside the moving vehicle.
Put your tray tables and seats in the full upright and locked position because we're about to take off on this airplane known as Tarzan Express.
We promise that this episode will not be tantorable.
Ooh. Herc.
More like Hercules. That was the sound of one of those blocks from Super Mario 64 that tries to smash you with its face.
Very good.
Wow.
I've been keeping that in the episode.
Okay. Well, in that case, we're back. Once we fight the Hydra, then we should talk about fighting the Hydra.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Am I right?
That's the first thing that happens in Thebes, right?
That's his big hero moment. He tries to do a couple other things and does no good. And then heads out to save these two little children.
I see what you did there.
From the Hydra.
Yeah. Heads out.
Yep.
Hydra looks real cool.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it. I was okay with the 3D animation for this.
Like, it's so weird. I remember it looking incredible at the time, and it looks a little goofy now, but it's still very scary to me. Like,
right, there's some goofy, but I think when it gets to the countless amounts of heads,
it's deeply terrifying.
Deeply terrifying awesome. And looks great.
Yeah.
But yes, I think early on, like Unhead and maybe a couple more.
There's something about its face that is like uncanny valley to me.
Yeah, it doesn't quite fit.
It freaks me out, but I still love it.
It looks like something from Samurai Jack.
And
it absolutely does. Wow.
That's a good pull.
Don't know how.
But it also, like, I love that it's basically like, it's got like a personality and it's weird, but I love it.
A lot of personality.
This is something that's pulled directly from it. This is the second labor of Hercules. You guys have probably heard of the labors of Hercules. He has to do 12 tasks for a king for super long reasons. He basically came to this king and was prepared to be his slave. And so he asked him to do these 12 impossible things. The second labor was to go to a city called Lerna and kill a monster with many heads called the Hydra. When he cut off one head, two would grow back. Yep. And the way that he defeated the Hydra was by burning the stumps of its neck. Like he cut off its head and then cauterized the wound so the head couldn't grow back. So this is pretty close.
Yeah.
This is something that's like pretty accurate.
The cauterizing would have been a not Disney thing.
Would have been rough. Yeah. But he
crushed to death is pretty brutal too.
Right. There's one head that he can't cut off. And so he kills that head by burying it under a rock.
Oh, cool.
And so, I mean, this is pretty,
we
tracks
did it
pretty well.
Yeah. Hey, tell me about Meg. Where does she fit in? Not at all.
Hercules marries the princess Megara. She's his first wife.
She calls herself Megara in this movie.
Yeah, so she's his first wife, and they have children together. And then Hera, who is not Hercules' mother. Hercules' mother is Amphitryon's wife. Zeus disguises himself as Amphitryon and gets her pregnant with Hercules. Amphitryon comes home later that night and gets her pregnant with Iphicles, Hercules' half-brother. They're twins with different fathers.
Oh.
But anyway, Hera, for Hercules' whole life, is angry at him for being the son of Zeus. And so she causes him to go mad, and in his madness, he kills Princess Megara and their children.
Whoa.
Which is very, that's kind of like a God of War type of vibe. But that's... so that's something that we probably wisely leave out of this one.
I would think so.
Yeah, well, I mean, random fun fact, but Kratos is sort of based on like a Spartan Hercules. Yeah. Like it's a very similar, in fact, in I think it's the third God of War, you go head to head with Hercules as Kratos. And it's this whole theme of like two like incredibly powerful, strong gods head to head that have both lost family and gone crazy. Like it's very much that. So
that's
kind of
awesome.
interesting.
Dude, speaking of all this family tree stuff, can we make an argument that Hercules and Ariel are first cousins once removed?
Let's talk about that. Poseidon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why not.
Yeah, I guess so.
Poseidon's Greek, huh?
Poseidon's Greek god of the... He and his two brothers, Zeus and Hades, overthrew the Titans.
So. There it is.
Yep.
Family.
Uh-oh.
Them cousins.
Ariel got the raw end of that deal.
Yeah, for real. Like sushi raw. It was just fish.
Well, she got legs.
Right. Yeah, and as you said, the whole time.
She got legs.
She's had them that whole time.
The whole time. Underneath there, she got legs. But
spicy.
I want to talk about Meg for a little bit. She's kind of a central plot point
She's
to a lot
different.
of what's going on.
She's different to a lot of other damsels.
She is. The thing that's hard for me to pin down about Meg is the schizophrenic characterization of her between strong and independent and this like weird, sultry Wii Sports symbol.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to put a finger on. And I know that a lot of when she is using her Wii Sports prowess is when Hades is telling her like, go woo him.
Yeah.
And I get that. But there is something a little much about the way that other characters behave about and around Meg and other women in this movie.
Yeah, I don't think it's as much her as it is how people react about it.
I agree. So that's
because there was like references to curves and just kind of like inappropriate for that. And it's
like
not
Phil with like the cheerleaders.
Yeah, and
all that
and I
stuff
think it's because
freaks me out a little bit.
Disney made itself its own standard, right? And it wasn't ever in any of the other Disney dozen movies or even in the Renaissance, I can't think of references like that.
Right.
Maybe it's appropriate that it comes from the person who lords over hell that would think that way, but it's like, maybe it's not appropriate.
Yeah.
Regardless.
This is actually my super dump for the
It's
movie.
my super dump as well.
I was uncomfortable watching this just because of how it was very, very reductive.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Toward the middle of the movie, and like you said, she's schizophrenic. By the end, it's like she's a fully fleshed.
It's back to normal.
It's back to
Right.
normal, but there's this weird dip in the middle.
weird. Well, and
Yeah.
I do want to be very clear. I think you're right. It's not Meg's fault. I don't think that Meg herself does anything wrong. Like when she is acting counter to everything that she is set up as, it is because Hades is having her do these things for her freedom, and I understand that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the problem tends to be like the male reactions in this movie to a lot of that stuff is just like kind of creepy.
Yeah.
I guess my super dump, my super dump as well is not so much the collective of that, but a specific scene to where all these girls are fawning over Hercules.
Yeah.
And then they just lead him outside, and just the noises and like lines that Phil says as he's going out to chase them down is really gross. And I was just that. I've never made that face unless it was like, whoa, I can't believe they ate that. Or, ouch, that hurt. But this was like oh man, like I was bummed.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was, I think we all agree on that to an extent, that it was way too much for this.
Yeah. It's kind of weird. But in the middle, we do also get Zero to Hero, which is a great song.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
We get to watch all of Hercules' triumphs.
Yep.
You get to watch him get action figures and Slurpees, and
which are great. What a creative way to carry the story, to carry plot.
Yeah.
The muse.
And that
was almost my super pump.
That whole scene up on like the cliff of Hades, shooting the pots with his, or the vases with his face on, but then with Pain and Panic with the action, or with the shoes and like the Slurpee and all that stuff. It's so
I
funny.
kind of wish, you talked about Zero to Hero. There's a part of me that wants to see a version of this movie where every song is that gospel style.
Right.
That's a really, really interesting way to tell this story. And it doesn't fit. Like there's something about it that is a disconnect.
Yeah.
But I want them to lean into that disconnect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that'd be really interesting.
I think so too. And it was this felt like something that Disney could put on Broadway. I think the story of Hercules, especially because of the muse too.
Yeah.
But like what they've done, obviously with Lion King, they've got Aladdin, Little Mermaid.
The stage version of this premieres later this year. Premieres in August.
What?
At a theater festival. Yeah.
Really?
Uh-huh.
You're kidding. Of like Disney, with Disney songs?
Disney's
and stuff?
Hercules. Yeah.
What?
Well, I'll be dipped.
Yep.
That's crazy. I had no idea.
That's awesome.
Found that out through the good old Carter, close your ears. Through Wikipedia. Yeah.
I've heard of
They're
that.
good.
I've heard of
Carter hates though.
Hey, what's up, Carter?
Hi, guys,
Found it
I'm
through
back.
the Encyclopedia Britannica.
Oh, awesome, man.
Yeah.
Great source.
The online version.
Legitimate source. I love those.
Yeah.
Yeah. Always good. Always good to have a legitimate source. But we end up having a big falling out between our favorite main boys, don't we?
Pegasus and Hercules?
And Phil.
No, Phil and Hercules.
Well, Pegasus is mad too,
Oh,
though.
yeah.
Pegasus is more one of my main boys than Phil is, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Even
But-
though both of these guys are in the Sweet 16, of our spring delirium bracket. So
That's true.
kudos, but
Herc plays Herky from his responsibilities, and he herks his responsibilities and goes with Meg for a day off.
Yeah.
And ends up in these gardens where they're falling in love.
yeah.
And Pegasus and Phil do not like this.
So that song, it was funny, and I wonder if Disney tricked me. Because that song, I kept thinking to myself, man, this sounds so much like something from Greece. And then I went, that's where they are. Did you? Did they do this? But didn't it sound like that?
Yeah,
though?
Yeah, it really did. Yeah.
Like this was Sandy singing or something.
This song was almost, it's almost up there with Go the Distance for me.
Really?
I love
I didn't
this
remember it.
song.
This is a great song.
You didn't remember
One of
this
two
song?
songs I completely did not remember.
This
way.
falls in the category to me of I don't know. There's kind of, so if you look at something like Beauty and the Beast or like The Little Mermaid, the music all has a consistency to it. Even in Aladdin, there's still that kind of like old like 20s swing
Well, they
style
they
to
call
most
it
stuff.
show tune, basically.
Yeah, this doesn't have that. Because
Yeah.
we've got the gospel songs, we've got a very traditional I Want song in Go the Distance, and
Yeah.
we've got this that's kind of like a doo-wop song. You know, I wish there had been some sort of consistency.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I don't think it suffers for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just different.
Yeah.
You know?
Fun fact: when the muse is plural of muse
Mise.
Muses.
muses.
Yeah.
It is muses. Why does that sound weird to me? Maybe because it sounds like I'm saying mooses, and I know
Probably.
that's so when the muses are the busts, and one of them, who I think is probably Humor, is holding her head. That is exactly at the end of Haunted Mansion. In that ride,
Okay.
are these busts that are singing to you at the end, and it's 5 of them, and the last one's holding their own head, and I thought that was really cool.
Interesting.
But I wasn't a super fan of this song.
Oh, interesting. Yeah,
yeah.
I love this song. I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's a great song.
Pegasus coming in as the helicopter.
So good, right?
And we didn't even talk about it earlier. Like Pegasus Disney is so good at dialogue that's not dialogue with sidekicks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
Like the nonverbal.
Like when they said he's like a bird. And
Yeah.
he does the like,
Yeah.
like I loved it.
Yeah,
I loved it.
that's great. I also love, by the way, when they knock the arms off the statue at the fountain. I think that's very funny.
Yes.
A lot
The
of like,
statue is the birth of Venus, right?
yeah. A lot of
Venus
great.
was a Roman god. That would have been years and years and years later.
Let them have their fun.
This is the new character I'm playing where I squash anytime anybody has fun.
Yeah, it's really cool so
A
far.
character I'm playing
Cool,
called
dude.
Well
That's cool.
Actually.
It's whatever. Well, actually,
Maybe your character should do some Michael Bolton research before they step up to the plate.
Yeah, it's a good point.
whoa.
It's a good point.
Dang.
Cool.
Hades. That's what I was saying instead of Burns, but like Hades, dude.
Hades, dude, he got you.
Sick Hades.
So, wow, can I go to jail for that laugh?
Dude, I was hoping you were going to reference it.
Can we just go ahead and call the cops? Turn myself in. 911, what's your emergency?
That's awesome.
I'm a monster.
I
the emergency.
love when Pain and Panic are being kids and they're trying to call 911 and they say someone call IXII.
Yes.
That's so
IXII.
good. That's so good.
They little birds too before this garden scene
Yeah.
are funny too. Just to see their head on a little bird body.
They're like so gross as characters, and I
So,
love them so much.
We finish the garden scene and go back to the Colosseum, right?
Right, where he's doing his I'm in love training,
Yeah.
you know, whipping around and I'm in love, and I don't
actually
care who knows it.
Really, really like the I guess Danny DeVito's performance and the animation of Phil in this portion of the movie.
Yeah.
Like really, I don't know, it really conveys to me, it worked. It worked how
Yeah.
Phil is like torn up about this.
Yeah.
He kind of feels like the Rockies trainer
Yeah.
in a way too. And there is
Mickey?
kind of there is a Mickey. It feels like a reference. I didn't find anywhere that it was.
Absolutely.
But talking about fighting him later. But yeah, so it's revealed, right? About Meg's.
Meg, yeah. And Pegasus is seduced, I
Yeah.
guess, leading to one of my favorite lines later on when it is revealed and Payne does the like, it wasn't all a lie. I thought you were very good looking.
Yeah. So funny.
My intentions were pure.
That's what it was. My intentions were
My
pure.
intentions were pure. Hades shows his power.
Yeah.
What a quick way to suck the life out of the protagonist by just a handshake.
Yeah.
That's all it took. And then it's like, oh, cool. Like he's so powerful.
I actually really love this third act of like a depowered
It is a good third
Hercules.
act.
Yeah.
And it wasn't we talked about how quickly Aladdin went. And while, yes, there is so much going on in every third act of a Disney movie, this one's pace felt not as quick. Yeah? To you?
Yeah, no, it felt good.
The pacing
It
was
felt
much
good.
better, and the things like callbacks of the fates, like snipping the thread of life. That's
The editing is really good to
that's
kind
a
of the
3 beat.
scenes.
That's like a really classic 3 beat of follows a pattern of establish, reinforce, and then subvert. Like we see them at the very beginning snip somebody's life. We see them snip Meg's life, and then we subvert that when they try to snip Hercules' life at the very end.
Right.
Yep.
And I love that Hercules kind of learns his lesson of being strong is not all it takes to be a hero. You have to be smart too, and uses that to beat the Cyclops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
but-
Cyclops animation is so fun and gross.
Yeah.
Nasty.
But I also love that it would have been really easy to say Hercules just outsmarted Hades and that's how he beat him. But Hades beats himself with a dumb mistake, forgetting the wording of his own deal with Hercules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Herc gets his powers back specifically because Hades had forgotten the deal he made and didn't make sure that he said, don't hurt that girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to see how often the big bad is brought down by a lot of their own doing.
Yeah.
Because we did have that with Jafar. We have that with Hades. And I think we'll see that in our next movie that we'll announce soon. But the Titans are amazing.
Yes.
I love that. I really do. And one of my favorite
Doge is going to say
scenes-
that it's not anything like what the actual Greek Titans are
See,
like, which
they're
is true.
elementals. They're in this.
Yeah.
They're just
And they
like
are
elemental
elementals.
monsters.
But
And
it
I
is
like
so
that.
cool.
They're good monsters,
like
but don't call them
how
Titans.
Yeah.
like their prison that was underneath the ocean that he uses
I
kind of
do
a
love that a
cyclone to
lot,
go
yeah.
and grab them, and then they come out and they look awesome.
Yes.
And one of my favorite scenes is when they're like, melt Zeus, freeze him, and then they're all walking in
The
the
wrong
massive the
direction.
wrong way, and Hades is just like, oh guys, Olympus is that way. And they just go, yeah, perfect pause. But that battle, I think the battle that we have on Olympus
It's
is
awesome.
Yeah.
one
it's
of my
really good.
favorite.
I do think it's a little goofy that
Climax
Hercules can whip a tornado by its tail. But I
Right.
also love that Hercules can whip a tornado by its
that
tail.
felt like an American. What are one of the legends?
What's his name? Is that Paul Bunyan or like Pecos Bill or something like that?
It's not Paul Bunyan. It might be Pecos Bill
I
that
think
rides a
it's Pecos
tornado.
Bill,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yeah. There was
I'm gonna
some
Google that.
movie that had all of them together. It was like Paul Bunyan, Pecos Bill, all these American gods, essentially, like legends. But anyways, digression. Oh, and also the guy who does the train tracks.
Pecos Bill rides a tornado, originally published 1973. The fabled hero of cattle country tames the tornado and turns it into an obedient breeze.
Wow, that's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Now,
Man.
Hermes, when he gets taken and he's like, they're coming to take me. They're taking me right now. I'm being taken away. Like, he's like narrating as he's being taken
It's
is
so
so
good.
funny.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
like,
I
this
love Hermes in this. We haven't even talked about Hermes yet.
Hermes is great. His whole thing is
Paul
so
Schaefer.
good. But
How random.
everything at the time, he's the one that brings in the dawn too, right?
No, that's Apollo.
Okay.
Yeah, Apollo
Hermes
riding
is
his
the
chariot.
messenger.
Yeah.
But everything up on Olympus during this final battle is so much fun.
Yep.
The freeing of Zeus, and when he's like, all right, here we go.
Yeah.
And gets more of the lightning bolts.
I love
and-
the shot of Hephaestus forging the lightning
Yes.
bolts and then throwing them up to Zeus.
Oh, it's
That's
so
so cool.
Yeah, that was super cool.
This whole last battle is brilliant.
Is Hermes the Goodyear logo?
Yeah, I think so.
Really?
Yeah, it's the sandal with the wing on it, right?
Yeah, I think it is. Sorry if that. I guess it's not random. It's talking about that movie, God. But
But yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
it is.
absolutely.
wow, cool.
Hermes sandals with that logo.
That's
Love
funny. But Herc goes down after Meg dies to rescue her
That's big.
from. I guess at one point I thought he was pulling her from the river Styx, which is what it should be theoretically, I guess. But instead, it's like a whirlpool inside of.
We have to cross the river Styx to get to the underworld, and
Which they
basically,
show that, which was
They do show
actually
that,
another
which is
really
cool.
cool scene.
you can like once you get there, you can gamble to be reborn again and live a better. It's like kind of go double or nothing, or you can be in these
no whammies.
fields forever, or if you've been bad, you can go. So it's kind of like this is like a really westernized idea of the underworld.
Right.
Yeah,
Really cool end though. I think him swimming to her mixed back into the attempts at trying to cut his hair. So cool.
Yeah.
I really did like that a lot.
I did
Yeah.
too.
The animation of him becoming older, that was kind of creepy.
It was kind of creepy. I remember being very creeped out by that as a kid, like
Yeah.
deeply uncomfortable. But I love that, like, the thing that finally pushed him back up to full hero, full god status is an act of selflessness instead of I'm just strong.
Yeah.
I think that's great.
Yeah.
Also, dump on, and I know it's Disney, and to an extent, whether you're a god or not, you have a certain amount of immortality. You can Wile E. Coyote your way through a bunch of stuff and not die. But that giant column falling on Meg and she not instantly dying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's like a
that was a
severed
bone
spine,
crusher.
right?
Like,
Yeah,
I was
for
like,
real.
like, what's going on?
She done.
She done.
She done for sure. But, I mean, we're basically at the end of our movie, right? Is there anything
Yeah,
else?
he chooses to stay human.
Right.
Yeah.
I've got to. So I think there's another, and we're just stumbling upon this in the podcast. You're not going to agree. If you want, it's up to you. But the whole Hades feeling a lot like Scar's character. They both do have henchmen that are down for them to die at some point, like turning on them eventually, and being like, "Well, unless he doesn't come back,
if he makes it.
it's good." So that's interesting.
Huh.
There you go. And that's it for the podcast. Mine's
No, but I do think it's time to rate and review this. Well, we already did the review part. But before we get to that, Doge, would you like to talk about what happens in the credits of this movie?
Michael Bolton sings this really good song that I really like, and I thought he wrote it until today. And it's a good
Who
song.
wrote it?
You should listen to it.
That's new to me too.
I don't know, the people who did Hercules.
Oh, hold up, dude. You don't
Hang
sound like a
on,
valuable
dude.
source. You sound like Wikipedia. I'm glad we didn't talk about that today.
Use that website.
Song by Michael Bolton.
Alan Menken.
Song by Alan Menken.
Yep, that's what I thought.
I guess by meant that he sang it.
Right.
Whoa, hang on, stop everything.
Whoa, yay.
In the Spanish version,
Don't do
the
this.
song is performed by Hercules voice actor
Ricky Martin.
Ricky Martin.
Sorry to jump on. I forgot I read that.
What?
Excuse me?
Ricky Martin plays the Greek hero Hercules in the Spanish version of this movie.
Is that real?
Yeah,
it's
that's something
on-
I saw too. Sorry to steal your Zeus there, but it was.
Oh my goodness.
That's the best thing I've ever heard.
Yes.
Why did
dude,
I
I'm
not
so
watch the
glad you
Spanish
stumbled upon
language
that.
version? That's incredible. Is
Well-
that on Netflix as well?
I don't know. You just do your like rating thing, and I'm gonna look up the Spanish version of that song.
Our rating
Yeah,
thing.
please. Oh my goodness. Hey, we here at Two Chunks and a Hunk have used science combined with the power of Olympus and Zeus's thunder from above to create the scientific cinema scale, the perfect way to rate movies. And it is
Perfect.
as follows. The best thing we can ever say about a movie is own it, don't lend it,
Buy that poster.
The next best thing, that's going to be buy it, followed by rent it, and then stream it. After that, it's going to be forget it. And last, but certainly not least, the worst thing that we can say about a movie, and I meant certainly least, God hath forsaken us.
Should have said Zeus.
We should have. Dang.
Zeus has forsaken.
Thank you.
Zeus has forsaken us.
Who's going first?
I'm going to go first.
Whoa.
And I'm going to give this movie, Hercules, a low buy it. And it would have been a rent it if the music wasn't so dang good.
Funny you say that. It's a rent for me because I think it's okay to, in this dozen years, hold these movies to a much higher standard.
Sure.
And the fact that there was at least one song I didn't remember at all and didn't even really enjoy, which was Phil's training song.
Sure.
Just the out of character objectification for me was enough to rent. Again, though, this is one of my favorite animations. Like, I thought it was so fun. And I loved the villains so much. Hades is one of my favorite villains.
Oh, yeah.
But Collective, it was all, we were right there on the line.
I was about to
but
be a rent, but
it was a rent for me.
go the distance.
I would give this a very, very high stream it.
Ooh.
This is one of those. So you guys probably don't know this. I didn't watch this movie until I was already grown.
Cool.
Like I did not watch this as a kid, but I knew Go the Distance, which is not written by Michael Bolton. But look up, maybe even the Ricky Martin version would be good. But just look up that song. And I think that's probably the peak of your Hercules experience. And then you can watch the movie if you want.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the best parts for sure.
Yeah. Good point.
So to end this episode, I want us each to say which Greek god we would like the powers of for the rest of our lives. I'm Jordan Wonders for Two Chunks and a Hunk, and I would like the powers of Poseidon, because then maybe I wouldn't be so scared of the ocean.
I'm Doge, and I want to be Zeus because he can throw thunderbolts and turn into any animal, usually birds, that he wants to.
Oh, and I think I do want to be Hades. And let me explain. This would ensure...
I'm the devil.
I want to be the devil.
This would ensure that Michael Bolton never dies.
And he can write more great songs.
Michael!
Like
And he
From
can
the
keep
Distance.
writing excellent songs.